Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to edit the tmux status bar. So by default, it usually comes in something like this, which is, I guess it works, but usually you want something more pretty. I tried airline and powerline, but I got bored of it, and it was not as easy to modify it to the way I wanted to look, and blah blah blah. So we're gonna edit this in the tmux conf configuration. So usually the configuration is located at home/.tmux.conf, but I don't store mine here. I actually store mine in .config /tmux/.tmux.conf. I can't remember where exactly I changed the settings so that it loads from here, but yeah, that's how I do it. So I removed all my settings for the status line for this tutorial, and I just have my basic settings here. So before we start, I'm just going to bind a key quickly, which is a useful trick. I believe it's on the artwork here as well. So bind key R, source file. Usually you'd have this to source file .tmux.conf. But since mine is in .config, I'm going to source it from there. So .config /tmux/.tmux.conf. And then display message so that we know everything works. Display message config successfully reloaded. Okay. And that should, well, if I exit and then prefix capital R, well, as you saw there, it just reloads, it sources the config so that I don't have to manually source it each time. I just want to check the time. Okay, 1 minute in. Let's see. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start with is, well, explaining the components. Basically, there's a left component, a right component, and then this over here is called the window list, if I'm not mistaken, the window component. And you're going to format each of them separately. So the easiest, well, the most basic of formats is of the entire status line as a whole. So you can change, the first thing you can change is the position of the status line. And you do that with a set option, -G for global. G is just so that for all the, if updating one session updates all the sessions so that the configuration is the same all the time. Set option G, status position, and then top, either top or bot. We'll change the position. So now it's at the top. I haven't seen many people have it at the top. I also just prefer it at the bottom. So top or bottom. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to discuss the difference between styles and formats. So in general, styles just control how the stuff looks. So the colors, if it's bold or underlined or italics, and yeah, all that stuff. And then the formatting is what these individual components will actually show. So formatting this to instead show like user instead of the machine. The machine I'm on is called MSI because it's an MSI laptop, but that's unimportant. Yeah, so you have styles and variables, styles and formats, and in your formats, you can include styles, and you'll see what I mean by that just now. So, the first thing we'll change to show the style is, let's say, set option G, status style, which will change the style for the whole status bar. Let's say, what status style will we choose? Background equals black. And you can say foreground equals white. And it'll change the background of the status bar to be black. Since I'm running a compositor to make the terminal transparent, it just becomes transparent, but it is black. And then the foreground, the stuff in front, becomes white. Okay? So BG and FG are examples of different styles. You can look under the styles section in the man page for all the different things you can do. None in particular just removes all styles, which does come in handy sometimes, I guess. But yeah. Okay. Next thing we'll have a look at is, I'm just going to actually set an option quickly. Set option -G, automatic rename on, which should, sorry about that, which should, if I reload, just automatically rename the windows whenever I open up a new program, something like NVim. It'll show there, NVim. This will just be useful for the formatting later. Okay, so the next thing we'll do is actually the actual status bars. So the option is set option -G status left, and then you give it a string. In the string you format it, the ones where you specify the format, and for the right hand side it's the same. So if I give them both empty strings, they're both empty. We'll get to the window list just now. That one is kind of the, well, not the most work, but the most special one, I would say. You have to use a lot more there. Okay, so for status left, we'll first start with shell commands. So you can easily just write a shell command. So if I say echo hello world, right, it will just echo hello world. There's a syntax error. Echo, oh, forgot the code. Echo hello world. And what it will do is echo the words hello world. It just runs the shell command and takes whatever's in standard output and puts it here. But as you can see, the window list is clashing with the output. That's because by default, the status left has a maximum width of 10 characters. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And in order to fix that, what you can do is set option -G status left length, and then set a different length. So like, we'll do like 20. So if I reload, you can see now the full word is there. It sets the maximum length, but it doesn't say completely occupy that length. Actually, I'm not sure how to do that actually. So you can do it at status left, and the same with status right. Okay. But while we're there, before I get back to status left, I'm just quickly going to justify the window list. So to do that, you just say set option -G status justify, and this will justify it'll set the alignment of the window list. So I say center, and it's just going to justify it to the center. And if I change this back to 10, I just want to check something. Okay, no, that doesn't change much. Okay, so yeah, now the window list is justified to the center, even though it doesn't look like the center. I think if I open a tmux here, it's more on the center here. But yeah, it is in the center. It's just that the right hand status bar isn't showing. So it takes, if you can see these distances, to determine what the center is. That's as far as I can tell. Okay, so back to the actual formatting, you can just run shell commands. You can either do that, or you can change, you can run what are called format strings, or no, format variables. You can show format variables, sorry. So session name is one of the format variables, and to specify format variables, you have to use curly brackets instead of round brackets. And this will get the session name for the session. So the session name just happens to be 0 because I never named the session. Okay. And you can combine these two. combine multiple of these by just putting them next to each other. So something like session. If I do echo session like this, so echo session and a space, if I reload, it will say session and then the actual session name over there. So we can do shell commands, and we can use format variables to show necessary information, and then the last one we can use our style blocks, which are square brackets. And yeah, we can do styles as normal, so FG, and then whatever color you want, like let's say red. And it is, well, orange, because my red is defined as orange for whatever reason. But that brings me back to the colors. Colors you can specify either as the terminal colors or 256 colors. I do believe you need to have 256 colors enabled. By that I mean just you can put this command over here to enable 256 colors for your terminal, and that will change the color of whatever you have there. And I can even do this for, say, multiple things. So if I want this to be a different color, like say whatever color 130 is, it will do color 130. So that's how you would format the strings. Okay, so that was for status left. I'm just going to move this up here. Justify center as well. I'll just keep there. And so I'm going to show different examples in the status right. So a common example people use is who am I? Who am I? To show the user, usually in the left, but I do it in the right. So my user on this machine is well, Sarost. So that's one thing people usually show is the who am I command. And then what's another thing? Oh yeah, the date. Some people also like showing the date. I'm actually just gonna remove the who am I because it's gonna block the thing. You can show the date. Okay, so this is still part of the window list. The window list auto compresses when it doesn't have space. So this is the date command in Linux. It just gives you the date and then the time and time zone and stuff and the year. As you can see, well, yeah, the seconds, it's showing seconds, but it's actually only updating every 15 seconds, which usually is not what you want. So there's actually a useful option for that. You can set option, status interval. By default, it's 15 seconds, but you can set it to 1 second. Okay. And if I do control refresh, that should show every second the seconds update, which is pretty cool. But as I said, you can, do full shell commands in here. So what I can do is actually just, instead of showing everything there, well, the proper way would be to use formatting strings. If you just man the date command, you'll see how you can format the date and the time for whatever. I'm just going to be lazy and pipe this into awk and then print. I hope this works. Otherwise, I'm just going to look stupid. Print I think it's the third variable. I didn't actually test this out beforehand, so I hope this works. And it doesn't work at all. Maybe the second variable? No, oh, it doesn't work. In any case, that doesn't matter. You can do stuff like that. Another interesting thing you can do is put in, I'm going to leave all this, I should have said this in the beginning. I'll put all the code I used in the description below, so you can just copy paste instead of running around in the video. So another thing you can do is conditionals, which is quite cool with the format variables. So I'm going to use the curly brackets. You start with the question mark and then your whatever format variable. So one of them is pane at top, And with regard to the format variables, if you want to find out where they all are, they're all in the man page under the format section. If you just keep scrolling down, you'll find all the format variable names. There's a ton, so you can do a lot with this. I'm just going to use a few just to get the point across. So for the conditional, you obviously open up the curly brackets, question mark, whatever variable you want to be checking, and then what it should show if it's true and what it should show if it's false. So if the pane at top variable is true, I'm going to print top. If it's false, I'm going to print bot. So let's see that in action. You see at the bottom right, it says top. And if I make a new pane, and you can see I'm at the bottom pane, it will show bot. And if I go up, it will go top, bot. So that's that. Pretty cool. That's conditionals. And then, what else can we show? Oh yeah. So those are the setting the right and the left. Now we're gonna set option, we're gonna change the window list, the window formatting. So the command for that is window status format. Window status format. And it also takes in a string. And you can just pretty much also just use the formatting strings. So one of them is a window index, which is the number of the window. So the 1 and the 2 are the window indexes. If I just refresh, that is, so it only changes the second one, because when you run this command, window status format, right, it's looking at all the inactive windows. In order to change it for the current window, you have to do window status current format, and that will change it for the current window as well. Okay, so we can do window index, and if I just want to replicate the same thing here, is echo. Yeah, you can just do that, and then the format variable curly brackets would be window name, to get the name of the window. Again, all of this is in the man page, just go read. And there we go. Oh, okay, my bad. It is not that, it is a pound sign. Okay, so there we have the window name as well. Okay, and then the final thing you can add, which is what is usually there, is the window flags, which is the stars and the minus marks, or the hyphen marks. There we go. So it shows that 2 is the last last visitor window. So I'm just gonna yank in I'm gonna surround this and replace it with that. Okay, so now they are the same thing. Yeah, they are the same thing. So as I mentioned earlier, you can format these things differently. Usually what I'll have is, I'll have this just have different styling. You can do something like bold to show the current one. The current one is now bold, and you can also, I do believe it's just commas in here, FG equals red, which in my case will make it orange. And yeah, that shows you active one. If I move to the second window, that one's orange, so forth, and etc, etc. And then you can also change stuff like BG equals, I don't know, white or something, if you really want to see it clearly. And it's white. Okay, I think that's actually everything I wanted to share. Again, put all this code in the And I'll put all the code in the description below. Thanks for watching.